National emergency. Pandemic. Europe travelers not welcome for 30 days. March Madness canceled. At least 50 universities across the country closed. Online classes only. Graduations canceled. Concerts, Broadway shows canceled. Wherever 250 people are gathered, that's considered a large gathering, canceled. Churches in Washington State live streaming worship. People laid off, people working from home, stock market in bad shape, toilet paper selling out. Antibacterial soap prices high. People stocking up for the quarantine that they may be under if they test positive for the virus. I don't know about you, but I've been glued to the news. Every day reading the Center for Disease Control website, checking out the St. Charles County Public Health website, and copious other articles. I've been receiving statements from the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America and the Central States Synod on a regular basis. They all have good suggestions, best practices for how we might respond. Wash your hands frequently. I've heard everything from sing happy birthday to saying the Lord's Prayer while you do so. Practice social distancing. No handshakes or hugs. Stay 3 to 6 feet away from folks. Stay away from large gatherings of 250 people or more. If you feel ill, stay home. Did you know that you can hear my sermons on YouTube? I'm at Hope Video Ministry, and if you aren't here, you can stay connected via Hope Video Ministry. We'll post the link on our Facebook page. We've also changed some of the ways that we do worship together. For example, you'll only be able to receive the wine in an individual cup, and the cups were placed in a tray by an altar guild person wearing gloves. We will continue to monitor the situation day by day, and Beth and I will let you know via Facebook, email, or the TV stations if and when things change. It's a stressful and scary time for us. So many decisions to be made. Should I travel overseas or not? Should I go to a large group venue like a concert or a show? How am I feeling? Am I going to be financially okay? We worry about our families and our friends. There's a lot of fear and anxiety at the moment in our community and in our world. It's also a good time to be the church. We are the church together. We are people of faith and hope and love. We are people who are called to love God and to love neighbor. We are people who know that God is with us in all times and in all places. We are people who know that we are loved by God. We are God's beloved children. God is with us in all of this. I lived through Hurricane Harvey, which was devastating to Texas, devastating to my community in North Houston. We got through it because of the faithful efforts of people, God's people, who reached out to us. Reached out. Jesus reached out to the woman at the well. Look at all the boundaries that Jesus crosses here. A man speaking to a woman, a Jew speaking to a Samaritan, a religious outsider, a man speaking to a woman who has no name and has come to be at the well for water in the brightest and lightest time of the day, knowing that no one else would be there. Jesus reaches out to her. Jesus speaks to her. Jesus sees her. Today's gospel highlights the extent of God's love, the lengths which God will go to show God's love for the world. God so loved the world. Here's our example. Jesus' conversation with the woman at the well. Jesus developing a mutual shared relationship with her. Each of them speaking from their own truth. Jesus' truth, He is the living water. The woman at the well sharing her past with Jesus. Jesus accepts her past. She says she has no husband. It's not only a statement about her marital status, it's a statement about her unmarginalized status. In order for a woman to survive in this day and age, and that day and age, she needed to be married. That's why over and over again in the Old Testament, we hear about caring for widows. Widows suffered. But Jesus sees her. Jesus recognizes her difficult life. Jesus doesn't ignore her. Jesus reaches out. She's not invisible to Jesus. She has worth and value. We all have worth and value to our God. All of God's people are visible to God. God is with us, and we are invited to see one another, to lift up one another, to understand and accept one another. The woman listens, and in the conversation with Jesus, she's changed. To be listened to, what a gift. To be seen, what a gift. To be loved, what a gift. She leaves her water jar and she goes to the city to tell everyone, come and see the man who has told me everything I have ever done and who has loved me anyway. What a risky move on her part. How did she know that the people of the city would listen to her? We don't know. But they do. She's a witness to the world that God so loves the world. And we are witnesses to the world. We are witnesses that God is with us, that God loves us, and God loves the world. We are called to love the neighbor and care for the vulnerable. We are called to reach out to neighbors. For a while, we'll do that through social distancing, a phrase that I've heard over and over again this week, standing away from one another. But there are still so many ways for us to reach out and to be the church. We can send cards to those who are isolated and quarantined at home or homebound or sick for many other reasons. We can be a card shower. Somebody shared that this week with me. I thought that was a great image. A card shower, bringing refreshment of God's living water to those who are not with us, to those who are in need. We can pray every day at noon for people who are anxious about the coronavirus or who have been tested positive for the coronavirus. We can send notes of thanks to those that are on the front lines, everyone who's working in a nursing home or in the hospital are on the front lines. They need our prayers. If someone is quarantined in your neighborhood and you have the ability to share supplies or direct them to grocery stores that deliver, what a great way to reach out. We can let people know where they can get more toilet paper. Or buy an extra pack at the grocery and give it to someone. We can call to check in on one another, and especially those that we haven't seen recently. I know that you all are full of God's love. And this is a time to remember that Jesus reached out to the Samaritan woman. The woman reached out to her community with good news of love. And we too are called to reach out to one another. You know, Hope has an emergency plan online. Doesn't say anything about a pandemic, but it does say that we will remain open as a spiritual center. We will worship in the face of all odds. It says we will do so because we as the people of God need worship and we depend on it. So we will do our best to continue to follow that guidance as the church. It may be in person or in some other way online. Decisions will be made week to week. Be flexible with us. But as your pastor, I want to say that it's good to be the church together in good times and in tough ones. Remember, Jesus is the living water who nourishes us, both body and soul.